Hello, all you podcasters and podcasties out there. How you doing? Welcome to the Prism Files, Episode 1. We're glad to have you. Thanks for tuning in. You are joined by host Veras Connolly and host Daniel Connolly. Say hi, Dan.
Hi.
And so without further ado, let's just get right into it.
Okay, so what are we starting with?
So I wanted to start our series off with catching everybody up. We're doing the info dump episode of the Prism
favorite.
Files. Yes.
Everybody's favorite part.
Everybody loves a cartoon that info dumps, obviously.
Every time.
Every single time. So we thought that that's what we would do. But we'll try to make it interesting so that we don't fall into the pitfalls that a lot of those cartoons do. We'll do it better.
Yeah.
Info dumping, a lot of people are terrible at it, but you know what?
What?
We're going to also be terrible at it. So let's get started. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our best.
Yeah, so we just wanted to catch you guys up, talk about like where we started and how we got to where we are. If this doesn't interest you and it's far enough into the future, you can skip to the next episode. That's perfectly fine. But I'm sure that's another info dump, so maybe you'll want to skip a few episodes. So anyway, so let's start all the way from the beginning. We'll start from my side of things. So I started back in, I want to say it was like 2012, maybe 2013.
Was it?
Yeah, it was pretty far. It was a long time ago.
No, that much I know.
So when I was young, I would watch these things called Let's Plays. I know.
What?
Crazy.
Sin.
Believe it or not, they did exist that long ago. And I wanted to try my hand at it because I thought that it was a very cool and interesting medium to play a video game and talk over it and react to what was going on. Little did I know the path that would lead me down like 10 to 11 years later.
Yeah, still doing it.
Sure am. So it all started when I asked my dad if I could start posting videos to YouTube, and he said that I could post videos to his channel. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of wanted my own channel, but we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I started by propping my cell phone up on a little game rack that we had. And
was it on the game rack?
I think it was, yeah. Or it's just a bunch of stuff stacked up that we had lying around. And I aimed my phone right at the camera. I think it was my iPod Touch. Now that I think about it.
That actually sounds about right.
It was my iPod Touch.
Because you didn't have an iPhone at the time.
No, I did not. I didn't have that for a while. And so I propped it up and I hit record. My first game that I ever Let's Played was Sonic Colors.
Was it?
Yes. That was the first game that I ever Let's Played.
Oh.
And it was on our dad's old YouTube channel, which is probably gone by now.
Probably. Or if it is still there, it's lost to time.
Yes, exactly. So I started doing that. I think I recorded maybe like 1 to 2 to 3 episodes and just uploaded them. What ended up happening after that was about a year later, maybe it was a few months later, I figured out that you could get a free YouTube account. Not that you had to pay for it, but you could get a YouTube account by making a Google account.
That is correct.
And so I was like, that's interesting. And so I got a Google account and framed it as getting a Google account.
Okay. That was your way of working around it. It's just like, no, it's a Google account. It's fine.
Yes, that was my workaround, was to be like, yeah, no, this is a Google account. But I happened to get a YouTube account as a happy plus. And so my first ever YouTube channel, The Mixed Gamer 766, was born.
The Mixed Gamer.
The Mixed Gamer 766, which was literally just what I wanted to do, in the sense where I wanted to do a mix of different types of content and different types of games while using the number from my Xbox gamer tag.
That's right, because that was your gamer tag for a while.
It was, yeah. It was the Mixed Gamer 766. I then changed it to the 2 Socks 766 on Xbox, which was a huge mistake, and I regret that. But that's not what this episode's about. So I was the Mixed Gamer for a while. This was also perfectly timed where you needed a Google Plus account to do anything.
I forgot Google Plus existed.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
did everybody else on the internet, because you know what happened? After about a year, they canned it.
I was gonna say they stopped it, didn't they?
They did.
What was even in Google Plus? Do you remember?
Google Plus was Google's, like, they were trying to make it more of a social media. And in order to comment on videos, you needed a Google Plus account.
Well, that's dumb.
It is. It is really, it was really, really stupid. And so what what happened was, like, a year later they got rid of it, but I still had the Google account connected to the YouTube account. I think that's just par for the course at this point.
At this point, YouTube and Google are still like the same thing.
They're the same thing.
So,
But it was all connected. Getting it disconnected was a pain in the butt, but thankfully I was able to get it disconnected.
you got it. Yeah.
So what did I do on this channel? So I did Let's Plays. I did comedy sketches. I did plush videos, which, if you don't know what that means.
Oh my God, I forgot about those.
Yeah. So me and my friend had plushies of Mario characters, and we would just enact stories with those characters. I have fond memories of doing that as a kid, and I actually don't regret doing those, because I still think those are pretty funny. As cringy as they are, I still enjoy them. Like, they're privated now, like all my old content's privated now, but I will go back and watch some of my old content just to be like, yeah, a lot of this still translates to what I do nowadays, but it's a lot more streamlined and a lot less cringy.
You'll have to show me one of those again.
I
at
will.
some point, because it's been a very long time. I remember you used to. I remember there was like this one with Toad. I think you used to with a lot.
It was a blue toad.
Was it a blue Toad?
Yes.
Okay.
I loved him dearly. I don't know where he is anymore. I miss him. I loved that plushie to death, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where they went, though. Regardless. So those were the types of videos that I was making. I made a Sonic hack review video that got really popular for no reason.
Well, it's a Sonic hack. I guess the Sonic hack that you picked was also unique.
Yes, it was very, like, it was, if any of you know what this hack is, it was Sonic 2 XL, which is basically a hack where every time you get a ring, Sonic gets fatter, which is hilarious in concept, because it's basically just the rings were changed to like an onion ring texture, and every time you picked one up, you get fatter. And after a certain point, you just wouldn't be able to run anymore, and you would just die. And it was funny. And also my YouTube thumbnails were very progressive at the time, because a lot of people just kind of use still images as thumbnails nowadays. I was doing that a long time ago. So I was ahead of the curve, if you will. And then I stopped doing that, and now have had to go back to basically doing that nowadays because of the algorithm. Thanks, YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate you. If you can't tell, this is actual sarcasm.
YouTube.
Don't demonetize us, please.
Please don't. At the time, I also used iMovie to edit all my videos.
Yeah, I remember those days.
On my iPod and my iPhone, which, if you don't have that version of iMovie, it sucks. It's terrible.
Yep. I remember we used to make trailers.
Yeah.
There was those trailer setups that you could do where you just put in whatever footage you want, whatever text you wanted.
Yeah, those were fun. Oh, we should just do that as like a joke nowadays.
I think absolutely we should.
That'd be so funny.
That would be great.
Okay, well, if you see that from us soon,
you'll know
this
why.
is why.
Yeah.
So one thing that I also really liked about iMovie is that they had a lot of preset stuff that you could use and work with.
Yep.
And I liked doing skits, and I liked doing like weird vlog style skits. It's kind of weird to describe, but like in like comedy routines, like just in front of the camera, as you do when you're like, 14 years old or 12 years old, and you have an iPod Touch and access to the World Wide Web.
Of course.
And I accidentally doxed myself.
What?
One time.
You did?
Or maybe a handful of times. Yeah. So iMovie has this preset where it's like a news preset.
Yeah.
Where it shows you where in the world you're broadcasting from. And so it showed that I was...
What?
Yes. Not like the exact address, but it showed like the country I was in. And so it showed that I was in the United States, and that I was in Massachusetts, and that I was on the east side of Massachusetts. And I would use that news style frequently on old videos. And also all of my skits would happen like... it is in the same. It was bad. So I was accidentally basically showing pretty much exactly where I was. So it was just funny to me because I would literally dox myself by accident frequently.
Hey, everybody, I'm over here in this specific part of Boston.
Yeah, it was like, here is where I live. And it was terrible. And thankfully those are all private now. But that was really bad. It's messed up. It's really messed up. And so like, thankfully, like, we're at an age now where it's like, people knowing that what state we're in is one thing. But like, I was 12. That was really bad.
I still love the idea of like you doxing yourself and people are like, you live at this exact address. And I'm like, yeah, I know where I live.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What's the problem?
No, I wasn't that stupid as a kid. I made sure that like my address wasn't obvious and I tried to stay as ambiguous as possible, but it's difficult to do that on the internet at all.
Yeah, because sometimes people can look at like one thing in the background and they're like, "You're from here." It's like,
yeah,
what?
Exactly.
It's, like,
it's
have
crazy.
You ever seen like geotaggers?
GeoGuessers, yeah, who are like insane.
Oh my god, yeah. They'll look at soil and they'll be like, "This is the east coast of Peru, down by blah."
Sees a grain of sand. This is Brazil.
It's like, what? How do you figure that out just by looking at a grain of sand? It's like you could probably look at like one object in my bedroom and you could know exactly where I am.
People are crazy.
That's insane.
People are so talented with that stuff.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're on the coast of Barovia," and I'm like, "Huh? What?"
But in any case, something that also happened frequently during this time is I would change my username a lot.
You did a lot.
I like Super Tanuki, like 766, like a bunch of different names. I can't even remember all of them at this point. But I changed it a lot.
Bionaut was another one.
That wasn't one of the old channel names.
I think that was like the more recent ones.
That was like a PlayStation name or whatever.
Well, that was Xbox for.
It was
like,
Xbox. It still is because I can't change it because I thought I changed. Whatever.
I don't know.
Point
Doesn't
is,
matter. We're not on Xbox anymore.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
The point is that one of those name changes was Cold Toast.
I still love the story behind this one.
Yeah, literally, I was like, Dan, name. I think I named an adjective and you named a noun.
I forget who did what. I think that it was something like that.
It was one adjective, one noun. And so we came up with Cold Toast,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. And so
Do you remember why we did that?
I really
why.
don't. Do you remember why we did that?
I do.
Why?
Because for Christmas one year, we got a Wii U. And when we got it, we could only get one account on there active at a time. So as a compromise, we couldn't each individually pick a username. So we had to combine and make one.
That's right.
Hence why I think I came up with this system like, all right, pick an adjective, I'll pick a noun. And then you said cold and I said toast. And we're like, that's the one.
Oh, I think you picked the adjective.
I thought I picked the noun.
I thought you picked the adjective only because like I think you were like, oh, I don't know, cold. And I was like, toast. I
love how we're
I don't
both
know.
trying to take credit for toast.
I don't know. If I didn't, it's fine. But it was just, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it also works. It's like one of those names that you hear and you're like, cold toast. That sounds terrible.
It's
like,
yeah, I know.
But it sticks.
It's awesome. It was
it's
so
like,
good.
oh, cold toast.
But I remember at this time, the Mixed Gamer had an intro, which is basically just a bunch of stolen stuff.
I remember at one point it was like a orange mushroom with like the Rayman peace sign.
Yeah, but it
Like
had
a
a Mario
Mario
cap.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange Mario cap.
Did it have
yes.
shoes? I don't remember.
No, it was
Okay.
just that.
Yeah. With just
And
like,
somebody else made it. I think Flynn made that. One of my
Maybe.
buddies, Flynn, I think he made that. He's coming into play a little later, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But the Cold Toast era came around. I started collaborating a lot more with Flynn. I'm glad you stayed tuned for those 4 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
He had his own channel, and he also wanted me to be a part of a lot of his stuff. I wanted him to be a part of my stuff because we realized that doing it with 2 people was a lot easier than just doing it with 1.
Yes.
And so we got very used to hanging out and being in each other's content. We'd guest star in each other's stuff all the time, even as far back as the Mixed Gamer. But during the Cold Toast era, it happened a lot more frequently. And so content kind of got a little lazy on my end, I will admit, during the Cold Toast era, just because I would I would screen record stuff and just upload it. I was like, that's not content.
Yeah, no, that's just gameplay.
Right. And so anyway, like sometimes I'd commentate over it, sometimes I wouldn't. So it was really weird.
There was one time you did a video style where you literally took gameplay that you recorded and then instead of physically talking over it. You added text on
Right.
top of it. You did it with like "I am bread" or something like that.
That's right. Those videos were kind of funny.
I remember them being funny.
Yeah,
But
because
at
it
the
was
same-
almost as if the character was talking.
Kinda, yeah. But at the same time, I was also sitting there like, what is going on here?
No, that's fair. I went through a very heavy experimental phase as a kid to see what would stick. So anyway, that happened. But around that time, and a little later, me and Flynn and one of our buddies, Ethan, and you,
Oh yeah.
started a channel called The Couch Gamers.
I don't know. I think of it like vowels. Like it was like AEIOU, but I was the sometimes Y.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while I would come in, but like I wasn't like. I felt like I was like the guest star that kept getting invited back. It was like one of those like, oh, I wasn't like the guy. I was like a guy.
The frequent guest star.
Exactly.
You kind of became more permanent later.
Like
Very late into it, you became more regular.
sort of, yeah.
So anyway, so what happened was me and Flynn started the Couch Gamers. Ethan joined later as the editor and also partial talent. Dan joined in like as that talent that would show up like every once in a while.
Oh, I'm Dan.
Yes, you are Dan.
That is me. Weird. I don't know why, but my brain relapsed.
No, it's fine. I instead of saying you, I said Dan.
Yeah.
So, but that's fine. So during this era of the Couch Gamers, we did Let's Plays, no crud. We did sketches, and we really leaned hard into those sketches as well. We had a pretty good balance of sketches and Let's Plays. We were doing pretty well for a while there. We
Yeah.
even did like reviews and stuff. We did like food reviews, which those were kind of funny. We would do like game reviews.
Yep.
And we did like later we did movie and show reviews.
I remember
which-
that.
We'll get into that in a second.
Oh.
But I will say that for a while we had a very consistent basis of doing Let's Plays and doing comedy sketches. And one of our most common comedy sketches that we did was the mindless mini skip movies,
Oh, I love those.
which was literally just a bunch of different sketches compiled in a row.
Yep.
And we did a handful of those, and we did them over and over, and it was a lot of fun. And it turned into a thing where I started doing YouTube poop versions of those.
Yeah, because there were mindless mini what's.
Yes, they were called the mindless mini what's, where I would take them and then I would edit them to, be a lot more like YouTube poop style, which if you don't know what YouTube poop is, first of all, you're a child. And second of all,
Look it up. It's the greatest YouTube content that ever existed.
it was really funny for the time, yeah. It was
what do
incredible.
you mean the time? They still are.
No, they're still nowadays people
they
don't
can be.
Yeah, people don't really do YouTube poops justice anymore. Back in the day, they used to be hilarious. Nowadays, people just kind of don't do it that well anymore.
They just kind of like take the same footage and like loop it over and over again and think that like, haha, YouTube poop, haha. It's like, no.
Or like making the character pause for like 4 seconds. It's like, that's not funny.
That's no.
But anyway, the point is that I would take our content and YouTube poop them, and those ended up becoming more famous than the mindless mini skits, where it got to a point where we would just record the skits to make the what's.
Yep.
And we would set up the what's in the skits. And so they were still funny, but it got to a point where like we're just kind of making the what's at this point. And like we kind of fell off for a while. I called this the we drink pee era. Because we
Oh, not a day goes by where I don't think about that stupid.
so
God.
we made a video called We Drink Urine or something.
Yep.
And it was literally Dan was behind the couch and he would pour a very odd yellow liquid into these like huge pitchers, like comically styled D&D clear glass pitchers.
Yeah, because we had those.
Yeah. And then we would just drink them on camera.
Yeah.
And the whole joke was that Dan was peeing into those and we were drinking it. And that was the whole video.
Yeah.
That was it. And then we like coughed, gagged, and died.
Yeah.
Like that was the bit.
Spoiler alert, that was ginger ale.
Yeah. It was ginger ale. I think we showed that on the thumbnail, but I don't remember.
You did. You made that abundantly clear to put ginger ale in the thing because you're like, oh, we're not actually drinking. This is a joke. This is clearly a joke.
If we should make We Drink Pee again, We should call it We Drink Pee Again, but it's like a very seriously toned sketch. And it's got like really nice lighting and camera. I'm going to do that. Somebody hold me to that.
Oh God.
Anyway.
Someone cut this out.
No, don't cut that out. Somebody hold me to that. Anyway, this is the We Drink Pee era where like we were kind of just like falling off a little bit. And then our content did end up picking back up when we started doing the movie reviews, which was the Couch Critics is what it was called.
Was it the Couch Critics or the Couch Cast?
No, it was the Couch Critics.
Okay.
Because we also had the Couch Gamers TV, which is when we took the Couch Gamers formula and brought it to television. No, I'm not kidding. We were on TV for a while. It was local.
It was, yeah.
Through BCAT, actually. So if you're listening to this through BCAT, you can probably go back and find those up. Actually, maybe you can't. I don't know. But
this episode is sponsored by BCAT.
It's not. Well, maybe. I don't know. Sponsor us? Anyway.
BCAT. This episode is brought to you by the friendly people at BCAT. Thank you for letting us do this podcast.
We appreciate it.
This room is fantastic.
It is. So anyway, we had the Couch Gamers TV, which was we played video games on a physical couch. We'd green screen us. We'd green screen us on that couch in the corner of the screen while playing the game, and we'd commentate. And then we had like sketches in between where we did like Pokemon Go out on the street, or we did like I had a retro review session, and like Ethan had a current game review session. And it was really cool.
Oh, wow. That actually makes sense.
Yeah. And like it was very structured. It was really well set up. We did a handful of episodes. Only like a few ended up coming out. We recorded like 7 or 8 or 9, but only like maybe 4, 5, or 6 actually ended up getting released. That was really fun. I just wanted to say that little tangent.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to the Couch Critics where we would do like JonTron style review things where we would watch a movie and review it and edit it like so. We did one with Bill Nye's Netflix show. We did it with The Room. We did it with Gremlins. But the only ones that ended up coming out were Bill Nye and The Room. And we had like sketches and stuff. And it was really interesting and a lot of fun.
I remember we actually had like a setup for doing it with also the Doom movie.
Yes.
Like the one with The Rock.
We did, because we watched it to write jokes down for.
Yeah,
to
and
write
I
a script
remember
for.
watching that movie being like, that was genuinely just, I got nothing.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, that was the series that drove us apart.
Couch Critics?
Yes. What ended up happening was there was infighting on the Couch Gamers.
There was a lot of that.
There was a lot of infighting between 2 of our members. And so what ended
There's
up...
only 3. Like, we know who it is.
Well, there was technically 4 of us. Whatever. Anyway,
It was 3.
Point is, there was a lot of infighting. And what ended up happening was we fell apart kind of as a team. And we all basically unanimously agreed that we should probably, close the channel. We should all go separate ways.
Yeah.
Because this was affecting the reviews and the Let's Plays and our friendship. So we all decided that it would be a good idea to just put a close on the Couch Gamers and go our separate ways. And so we all spent a pretty long time apart. At this time, I went to college. The others were finishing up high school. And Dan was leaving college at that point.
I was, yeah.
So it was kind of a critical point for a lot of us. So we all kind of separated.
I love how we're like with a perfect age gap where like we have been together in school one time.
Yeah.
And that was elementary school. I think I was like in 4th and you were in kindergarten.
Yep. And then first and
then 5th. And then after that, never again.
Never again, yeah.
Like as I was leaving, you were coming in.
Exactly.
It's like every school had exactly like 8 years with a Connolly.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But both were different experiences depending on which Connolly you got.
It's true.
Yeah.
So I will say with the editing, what happened was for our Let's Plays and stuff, there were full-blown series that just didn't get edited. Like we finished Doki Doki Literature Club and only like half of it actually ended up coming out.
Oh, that's right.
Like there was so much stuff that like got cut short that just didn't get edited, and the reason for it not getting edited like pushed us to disband the channel, and it was just a whole thing. It was kind of a mess. So what ended up happening was like I want to say like a year later, because I think the Couch Gamers closed in like 2018 or like early 2019. What happened was I separated and started doing my own independent content again.
Yeah.
And so I kind of rebranded all my stuff and started going in my own direction. I started a company called Bioprism Entertainment, which a lot of you will probably know nowadays.
And chances are if you know Bioprism Studios, you know the sister Bioprism Entertainment.
Well, that's the point, is
Yeah.
that like Bioprism Entertainment was originally the name of the company until I changed it in like 2022.
Yeah.
So what happened was I kind of, it's a little fuzzy because I was starting college, but roughly what happened was my channel, I think I made a separate channel called Bioprism Entertainment in 2019. Dan and I started producing content for that channel, and then I turned my personal channel into Veravision, which that got turned into Veravision like I think in 2020.
It
And
was something like that.
it was like 2020, and during that time, during the outbreak and the coronavirus, I would stream on Twitch all the time.
You did.
I like literally I had a schedule where I would stream like 5 days a week. That did not last very long.
I was going to say, how long did that last?
So I only streamed like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then I would try to focus more on like bigger based content. So like I would stream on the side and then focus on making like bigger content for the channel. And so like, I was like, oh, do I want to do like games? Do I want to do like animations and stuff? So there's like a few animated stuff on there. There's like animated for like Oni plays on there. And then we, as a team, we made a game that tied into the universe that we're creating. That's where Camp Maplewood actually made its first appearance in a game called Camp Counterclockwise. That was developed by me, Dan, and one of our friends. And after a while, what ended up happening was I was like, I'm kind of unsatisfied with where I am right now. But I was developing a world at that time, and we both were. And I was really pushing myself to develop that world. And so I started creating stories and like comics and ways to tell this story. So that's where Zany Zooland came from, was I started pushing that envelope a lot more and started basically releasing it under Bioprism Entertainment and Veravision. And then Earth 2045 came from that because it was like a school project that I was working on. And then that's where I got the idea to do like the multi-circus. Like it was released under Veravision and Mousetrap and like all that stuff. And so like all that type of content stemmed from me rebranding to Veravision and Bioprism Entertainment and really starting to get like working more solo and with you helping along the way and pushing for more like business-based company type thing. And so what ended up happening was eventually after all of this, I rebranded one more time to Bioprism Studio. It went to Veras Studios, then it went to Bioprism Studios, which is where we are now.
Totally.
And Bioprism Studios has released several videos. We've released animateds. We've released the Multi-Circus. We've released Mousetrap. We've released we're going to be releasing Gene and Clark very soon.
Yep.
We re-released our old animation projects, Cuban Sphere, Double Sub Trouble, as well as The Boy and His Beast.
Yep.
And so we have rebranded a few times, so some of the company logos are different in those earlier projects, but now they're all copyrighted under Bioprism Studios and Bioprism Entertainment and me and Dan.
Yep.
And so we're in a very, very good spot now. And it only took me 10 years to figure that out.
Well, it doesn't exactly happen overnight, right?
No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. Every creator's journey is different. And mine happened to take me 10 years. And some videos did really, really well on those channels. Some of them not so much. Some of them are still trying to find their footing. And so I'm really just trying to get myself back out there. So that is, in a nutshell, what my YouTube journey was. And it's crazy to look back on it, and it's crazy to think about it because, holy cow, Like I've come a long way in those 10 years, and the quality jump is insane.
Oh, you're telling me, dude.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some of your first videos and seeing like the way you did it. That actually reminds me of like a Couch Gamers thing at one point. Or not even Couch Gamers. It was like earlier than that when you were doing the solo stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was one point you did, I think it was Banjo-Kazooie or something.
Uh-huh.
You recorded it like on your iPod, like the same way you mentioned before.
Sure.
And then someone you really liked commented on that video.
That was the Sonic.
Was it Mega G Wolf or something?
Yes. That was on a Sonic video. It was a Sonic Hack Showcase, which just stole the name of his show, which I apologize for that. I'm sorry. But it was a Sonic Hack Showcase, and Mega G Wolf, who was a YouTuber at the time who I really looked up to, who literally did the same exact thing as I was trying to do, he commented on that video. He said, "Hey, this looks really great. I would just recommend getting like a capture card, and you're well on your way." And that meant a lot to me, obviously, as a kid, because I looked up to him. I watch his stuff. I referenced him in that video, and to have him just watch my video and comment on it was insane. And like at the time, that's way more plausible than it is like nowadays. But it was so cool to see that, and I feel like that was a big inspiration for me to keep going.
I think that definitely was like a tipping point.
Yeah,
because I also remember. After that, I don't remember how far after that, we went to PAX.
Yeah.
And somewhere hidden among the booths, there was a hodgepodge section. There was a stand for
hodgepodge. You got
hodgepodge.
Sometimes
I get it, sometimes I don't.
That's fine. It's a weird name.
It is.
But it's a capture card software.
It was a capture card. It was hardware.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. It was hardware and software as both.
Yeah. So I remember we passed by that booth and you were looking at me with like the biggest eyes, like, we need to get this.
Yeah.
We need to get this. And I can't remember who we went with at the time. I want to say it was Dad.
I think it was Mom and Dad, yeah.
Yeah. And you looked at, it was Dad that ended up caving and giving it to you.
Yes.
And you used that thing until it was dead.
Oh, yeah. I had to buy another one.
You had to buy another one. And then you used that one until it died.
Yeah. They both died on me.
Yep.
They were not very good capture cards, unfortunately.
No.
They were, in theory, they were really great.
They were great
in practice,
for what you were trying to do.
Right. And there was like a big record button on it. But in practice, it was very not great.
It was clunky and old school.
Yeah. Now we have an Elgato.
Which
And that
is
thing
even better.
Kicks butt. I love that thing.
It is awesome.
No delay, no nothing. And I'm like, oh, God, this really is the best era.
My one complaint, though, is with like some of the older systems. Like, it seems to like kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like that weird, like, not grain, but it almost like synchronizes two separate frames like simultaneously, like in separate sections, almost like a...
Oh, weird.
I don't know how to describe that in audio format, but like if I show you, you'll see what I mean.
Like the top and bottom halves of the screen are like rendered at different times. So there's
it's not even that. It's literally like the whole screen is like cut up, almost like thin slices of something. And each slice is like either slightly to the right or slightly to the left, but they're like laddered up. So it's like
weird.
right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
It must be the encoding.
It has to be.
Because of the old software and like it's trying to do HD.
Maybe.
So that's probably why.
Yeah. If you physically see it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that.
Probably.
Because obviously I edit all the Cartridge Crusaders stuff.
Yeah.
And I see that constantly.
Yeah.
Especially with Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
Dear God.
I will say Dan did become a huge integral part of Bioprism Entertainment with helping with like animation and editing and like ideas and all that stuff. And I greatly appreciate that.
Well, I tried my hardest because I had similar ambitions that you do.
Yeah. In
being that I wanted to create stuff too, but my direction was slightly different from yours.
Right.
Being that mine was more like you compare our works. It's like comparing. I constantly say like a cartoon to an anime.
Yeah.
You see anime and you're like, oh, there's like all this attention to detail. There's like these characters having this soul crushing moment. They're doing like this insane thing. And then you jump to yours and it's just like, haha, the power of rocks. Yeah. It's like, all right. It's just two different directions. But ultimately you got farther with it because I just kind of like, I became support at this point. I'm like, you know what? I'll just take the skills I have and push it towards helping you.
And I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
I still think that you could do something great, like by yourself. Like, I don't think that you have to constantly play support to me. And I do appreciate that. I think you have enough skill to be able to do something on your own. I think what's just happened is that I think you're just used to, like, I don't know, caboosing my ideas in the sense where I'll be like, Dan, I want to do this. You're like, oh my God, yes, let me help you.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll literally be right behind you.
yeah, which I do greatly appreciate. I do. But I do also think that you could make something yourself if you tried.
I need to try to do the reverse, where I need to be like, I want to do this idea, and
Yeah.
you do that to me.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
When you do that, let me know.
Whenever.
We live together. That won't be very hard for you
Yeah.
to let me know, but yeah.
I know it's just a little harder for me to do reasonably because obviously I work
Right.
full time, and then like I'll spend my off time helping you do whatever it is you want to do, whether it be stuff like filming Mousetrap, playing Dave, or like voicing a character, or animating backgrounds, editing episodes for Cartridge Crusaders.
Right.
But you're also constantly doing stuff yourself. Like you're in the middle of college right now.
Yes, I
Or
am.
towards the tail end of it. But
Yeah, I'm about to graduate soon.
yeah, but you're always working on something.
Yeah.
So like it always feels weird me going up and being like, "Hey, here's this project," and I also have like the attention span of like a rat, where like I'll start working on something and then I'll be like, "I'm bored," and move on.
Yeah. It's tough to focus because I have that problem too sometimes where I'm like, oh, I have this really cool idea. And never mind, I don't care. And then I move on and I'm like, okay, that was dumb.
I still have to fix up the video I did one day because I think the last time I had like a true epiphany,
Yeah.
I made an animation.
Yeah.
And that was when the Dr. Livesey memes were dying out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were dying out. But like I was still seeing them on a daily basis, and I was like listening to the song because I was like, the song's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I happened to listen to like the sketched out orchestra, your song March of the Bioprism.
Right.
And I'm like, what if Gene and Clark were these guys?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, all right, well, who would the third character be? Cassie!
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been a long journey. It's like, I feel like the mindset that I have of like constantly wanting to change and evolve helped me get to this point. And it's been a very long journey. It's been very interesting. And I think that's going to wrap up this first episode. We mentioned a bunch of other stuff at the tail end here. We may run a little long, so I apologize. But a lot of the stuff we just mentioned are teasers for future episodes. So make sure that you guys tune into those future episodes to find out more about what in the world we were just talking about.
Yep.
So thank you.
God forbid we try to do a Torosa episode.
Oh, that's coming.
Oh, that's coming?
I think that's going to be a multi-parter, but yes, it'll be old era and new era.
That Torosa episode will probably be like collectively like 3 hours.
Oh, that'll be a long one. But for now, thank you everybody so much for listening. We appreciate it. Again, you can find us anywhere where podcasts can be found. Spotify, iTunes,
Anchor.
Yep. We're also on BCAT's website, Burlington Cable Access TV, or bcattv.org. You can also find us on Bioprism Studios' YouTube page.
Of course.
So make sure you go ahead and like the podcast, follow us, subscribe to Bioprism Studios and Bioprism Entertainment, listen to the Sketched Out Orchestra on Spotify and all your favorite music streaming platforms.
I know I do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Well, we'll hear you you'll listen to, we won't see them though.
We'll hear you guys in the next episode.
We're listening. Yes, even you.
See you later.